Joining us right now is Larry Kudlow of CNBC. Larry, it looks like it's going to be my big fat Greek default today, as a Greek government official confirmed that yes, they're going to default on that 1.5 billion euro loan to the International Monetary Fund. Saw Dow react to it yesterday, down 350. Is this as bad a thing as it appears to be?
No.
Okay.
No. Heck no. Greece, for about half its existence, since World War II, Greece has been in default. It's a little-known factoid. They're always in default.
Huh.
And most of their bonds, by the way, are owned by governments like the EU or the European Emergency Fund or the IMF. Only 13% of their bonds are owned by private banks. The reason I say that is there's no real systemic risk here, okay? And the contagion, I know everybody sold off yesterday, but my guess is that's going to be the worst of it. It's not really a contagion issue. None of these banking systems depend on Greece or Greek bonds. And look, my take is a simple one. If Greece wants to default, let them default. If they want to vote no in the referendum, let them vote no. If they want to leave the euro, let them leave the euro. It's like, who cares? I don't care.
What would be worse for the international economy, though, for the global economy? Greece defaulting or some country bailing them out, the EU bailing them out?
Right. I mean, that's a good point. It's a great point. Another bailout, and they never change their behavior. I mean, what they need to do in Greece is what a lot of East European countries did after the Berlin Wall came down and so forth. They need to sell off all the state-run businesses, all the state-run corporations. This is something Asian countries have done. That's number one. And number two, instead of raising rates, they need to lower tax rates across the board. There are fabulous Greek business people all over the world. I know many of them. Some of whom are clients of mine down through the years, but none of them are in Greece. They've all left. I mean, they're in Europe, they're in London particularly, some in Switzerland, many in the United States. I mean, the whole Greek shipping industry, which is terrific, has departed. And you know why? They don't want to pay 100% tax rate on everything. So this is the kind of thing that needs to be fixed in Greece. You've got this far-left government running it. They're not going to fix it. And my attitude is they get what they deserve. If they're going to get pummeled into the ground, if they have to leave the euro, fine, so what? Maybe they'll learn something. Maybe they never will learn something.
Now, Larry, do you think, though, it would have been better, though? You say you want to that they need to cut the value-added tax, corporation tax. Should we have let them default back months ago when this all started? I mean, has the IMF, has everybody kind of encouraged this to keep going? And has it not just made the situation worse? Instead of maybe if they would allowed default last year, we might have been on the road to healing.
Maybe. I can't bet the ranch on that.
Yeah.
I think the Greeks are irresponsible. They had a series of governments. I guess you had this sort of middle-of-the-road technocratic government a couple of years ago that made a deal in 2012. That's the deal that's unraveling today. And Greek bonds actually traded up in price and down in yield. So it looked like a little bit of normalcy, and then you have this left-wing government coming in. You can't trust them. They're acting stupidly. The governments of Greece are destroying the population. I mean, look, if the Greeks drop out of the euro and go back to something called the drachma, which has no value at all, it will bankrupt every individual Greek because their savings will be worthless. They won't be able to pay any debts. So there are real consequences. But again, to Larry's point, this is a Greek problem. And I know it spread yesterday, although it started to come back at the close. I do not regard this as a global problem. I do not regard this as a systemic problem. I don't think this has anything to do with what happened in 2008, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Life will go on.
Okay.
But
whether Greece is part of that or not remains to be seen.
Do you think those bond spreads, though, will keep rising, though, in Spain and in Italy?
Maybe. See, remember, the ECB will buy those bonds.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if those spreads will keep
Interesting.
rising. And they have deals with the ECB and the EU. And so the spreads until recently were pretty tight. the ECB has said we're not buying any more Greek bonds.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should. I mean, again, this is a government-to-government issue. It's very important here. This is not the Greek banking. They'll lose. They'll take some more haircuts, but it's not huge. Most of that damage is all done.
Larry Kudlow, I'm told by our fantastic.
They'll lose. They'll take some more haircuts, but it's not huge. Most of that damage is all done.
Larry Kudlow, I'm told by our fantastic executive producer, Heather Smith, the finest in the business, that you're ready to make an announcement today about your proposed Senate bid in either New York or Connecticut. You're running for Senate, Larry. It's just a question as to what state you're going to run in. Are you going after Blumenthal or after Schumer?
Heather Smith is the best. No question about it. But she's a little ahead of the story right now. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I've seen some rumors, and I have had some conversations, and I am thinking about it, but we're a long ways off from any decisions.
Who have you had conversations with? With the National Party? With some fundraisers?
I just, these are private conversations, Larry. These are like really private. I can't divulge.
But Larry, my question for you, Larry, I mean, you've survived media. Do you really want to take on the infestation known as Congress? I mean, do you really want to join that crowd? You've already gotten such a great reputation. Do you really want to destroy it by running for office and winning?
Well, I appreciate your point. You're very kind. You are very kind. I'm looking at it, and that's about as far as I can go right now.
I've got to see that debate between you and Chuck Schumer over the direction of our economy.
I'll sell popcorn.
Somebody, whether it's me or not, somebody has to provide free market, supply side, economic growth policies to two of the worst states in the nation. One is New York and the other is Connecticut. They're both in major, major decline. Connecticut actually even worse than New York. And there has to be an opposing Republican message of growth, 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 growth. Now, whether I'm the guy or there are other people better suited remains to be seen. But it's what's going on in Connecticut has made a perfectly great state a complete shambles, with all the businesses moving out, including General Electric talking about moving out.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true in New York. Look, Greece, did someone say Greece? High taxes? There you have it. The Greeks should sell off all their corporate enterprises and slash their taxes. So should Connecticut, and so should New York. So we'll see.
Larry, the other big headline that we're going to see today is the president proposing to expand overtime.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect?
I love this.
As if the economy and employment in America can take another hit.
Right. He wants, basically what Obama wants is for the federal government to manage the employment and salary parameters of American business. I guess the next step is going to want to run the businesses themselves.
Sure.
But he wants minimum wage. Now he wants overtime. He's got another laundry list. He and Hillary, paid medical leave, all these things. I have this simple rule. In free market capitalism, governments have nothing to do with the running of private companies. Okay? Nothing. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It should go to the courts. Nothing. Minimum wage, maximum wage, overtime, undertime, benefits, nothing. This business about the government taking over our companies and dictating to them how they should be run is absolutely nuts. And it's a perfect example of why businesses won't expand, why they won't take risks, and why they won't take jobs. And by the way, Obamacare is so much a part of this with its regulations. You can't work the 30th hour, you can't hire the 50th person because you're going to suffer penalties, or you have to buy expensive Obamacare, which would damage your bottom line.
Now, they got to control more. They're not controlling nearly enough, Larry. They've got to get involved in even more. All right, well, listen.
Right. Greece writ large, please.
Let's
not be Greece. That's our new slogan. No Greece, no Greece.
That's why he's the Republican candidate for Senate in the great state of Connecticut. Larry Kudlow, thanks for joining us.